New York speedrun. For the history of this game, the most iconic event has always been New York. The Crew 2's most iconic event. New York Hypercar. The longest event in the game until they added custom races, which, whatever, doesn't really count. New York has been the most iconic. Well, what if I told you it has also had the most iconic, I guess, history for shortcuts and sweats? Something that, if the game was bigger, someone like Vertical could even make a video on. Summoning Salt, they could make a video on because it's intense. Things changed. Patches were made. Cars were made the best. And some cars were faster. Some cars were made slower, so runs were unbeatable. Sometimes a shortcut was patched or a method of overtaking was patched. So many different things happened with this event. And someone in the community, Kiwi, which head down there and check out Kiwi. His link will be in the description. Made a video about the full history of New York. And that is what we are here to watch. That is what we're about to see. Now, he did this in a much more brief way. I planned for a very long time to do a history of New York video, but with make it like a full video essay, like a summoning salt or a vertical. But then it just was a bit too much work, the research at least. But you know, with this video and with Kiwi's help and some other people's help, I might in fact do that, because there's some holes that I don't even know in the lore of New York. So, chat, are you boys ready to learn the history of the New York world record? Here we go. 5 years. Yes. Oh, God. I was, like, what, 15 when the game came out. This video hasn't been made. Again, it's too much work. And it was an open-ended story, you know? The history of New York, very nice, very cool editing for the beginning.
The Crew 2 launched in 2018, a new racing game with an open world based on the United States of America. The game has a big variety in its landscapes, vehicles, and of course, races. One of the races were more special than the others. It was the New York race, a 30-minute hypercar race that starts in New York and ends all the way over in San Francisco. The Crew 2 has leaderboards, which for some people, don't matter at all. But for competitive people, it matters a lot. One of them being GoPro IMAX. IMAX was a top-tier player across most disciplines in the game. But his specialty was New York. At the end of 2018, he managed to do a run under 25 minutes, which was slightly more than 2 minutes faster than the second place.
Damn, it's crazy to think that just under 25. What's the current day New York best? They broke 23? Wild that in all this time, it's only really gone, what, 3 minutes ahead? Which is pretty crazy. I mean, the event was obviously pitched as like a half-an-hour event, already brought down to 27. Then he breaks it to 25. But then to think that since then, it's only really gone from there to just under 22 minutes, I think, was the broken one, I think? Crazy thing to think. Also, yes, I did get permission from Kiwi to react.
When this run was uploaded, I'm not even surprised if people thought it was cheated. Because if I saw someone gap the leaderboard that hard, I would probably think so too. But how come it's so much faster? Yeah, you might have guessed it correctly.
Assume all the shortcuts?
Shortcuts. The shortcuts are a big thing in this game. Pretty much. Because they're everywhere. And even 5 years later, there's still new cuts being found every once in a while.
That's crazy to me as well. That Rhino, I learned the New York run, I'd say 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And then a year after, I start creating content and people are like, by the way, you have no idea what all the shortcuts are. There are so many more shortcuts in the run now.
Were big factors to why the run was so...
Even this one that is being done here. I know the shortcut leading up to this shortcut. I know
even 5 years later,
I have no idea about this one.
Big factors to why
Still
the run
can't
was
do
so
it
fast.
Because I suck.
All those lines... and not a single crash throughout it all. It was just insane to see that someone managed to do it in a single run. But
that's what it is,
there was one cut that was more famous than any other cut
Absolutely.
in the whole race of New York.
POV?
It was the biggest one as well.
hang on.
Any other cut
POV?
in the whole race of New York.
Every SidWaj New York video thumbnail. There you go.
It was the biggest one as well. That cut is called the 82%
Absolutely.
shortcut.
Yeah,
It starts
you dive
by
off it.
turning to the
God, I
right
miss
after
it.
hitting the checkpoint just moments earlier, and then going to the side of the mountain. Once you've gotten past the hairpin on the minimap, you drive down the hill and through the trees.
It was chaos of a shortcut, though.
Once you made your way down past the trees, you would see a cliff. You could either go straight and jump off the cliff down onto the road, or you could go down to the right and use the back on track feature. That would respawn you onto the same road at the bottom of the hill, but just in front of the next checkpoint.
This was before.
From here on, you just continue to the end of the race, which was
Yeah,
in the
okay.
middle of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Interesting, because this was
As you
before
can see, the shortcuts shown reduce a big amount of
the
time.
back on track patch.
And within a year, the times dropped even further.
Damn.
In April 2019, summits were introduced, a weekly competition with 9 events to compete against other players for new rewards.
I guess that did a
On
lot
the
for like
9th
the
of
competitive
October,
audience, right?
almost 5 months after the
Oh,
release
yeah.
of summits, New York was featured as an event for the first time, and this time without traffic for everyone.
I remember I did a live stream as well as I did a video, and the thumbnail for that video is very funny if you go back to it. But it's because it's an old video.
What do I mean by no traffic for everyone? Well, you see, this game had a glitch that would make the traffic disappear from you, and you would be able to drive the whole race without having to worry about crashing into them.
It wasn't even crashing into traffic in that
Anyways,
image.
back to the story. During the year, new shortcuts were discovered and used to cut off more time.
Yeah.
This was shown by
I will say I was expecting to go more into the traffic thing, right? Like bring up the fact about the traffic and I guess maybe tell us how good the runs were with no traffic in that summit. I don't know. I sort of that door was opened, but then it kind of didn't go into it too
New
much.
shortcuts were discovered and used to cut off more.
Obviously, because no traffic is a big thing for New York, as some of the best runs use no traffic bugs. Right?
This was shown by IMAX's run during the Coast to Coast Summit, even though the run itself wasn't uploaded until
Okay,
July
so this is
following
from
year.
that summit. Okay, okay.
A whole minute seems like a lot, which it really is in one of these races, but most cuts you see are mainly about cutting over a field or watching out for trees.
Absolutely.
The cuts that include jumps were mainly the ones that you saw earlier on in the video. When the summit ended, IMAX's run had been improved further by
Damn.
more than a minute.
Crazy. So what, down to like...
Was he satisfied with it?
24,
After
I
not
guess.
achieving his goal of 23:30, he continued to play the event during the following months into 2020. At some point, he beat his personal best all the way down to a 23:06 with a new car.
I mean, there's gotta be a then he disappeared, because I don't know this guy.
The Bugatti Divo Magma Edition.
Oh yeah, the Magma! That was like the... What was better before this? The Egoista, right? The Lamborghini Egoista? And I remember I hated it because it was such an ugly car. But it was the best in the spec. And then they made the Magma. They added the Magma edition in the So French Summit. And then that reigned supreme for so long. So long. Aventador was highest top speed. Egoista was best all around, right? I remember that because the Devo Magma, iconic. I had mine dripped out in this ugly way, but it was iconic to the channel as well. The Magma was fun, man. The Magma was fun.
The Magma is a special car from the summits that you can win by getting platinum in the So French Summit,
you
just
have a
over a
cold
month
here?
before the Coast to Coast Summit. The run was unknown, unless you looked at the leaderboards yourself, or saw it from someone.
Yeah.
Because IMAX uploaded the run in the middle of August, but the run was actually done way before that.
Huh.
On March 1st, 2020, a player named The...
Wait, did he
way
get
before that.
56,000 views on a New York
On
run?
March 1st, 2020, it's actually done.
Hang on. 56,000 views on a New York run?
Way
God
before
damn.
that. On March 1st, 2020, a player named The Route 69, now known as Root or Doggerbot.
Ah,
Upload-
yes! That is a name the channel will know, as one of my most viewed videos is his New York run. One of my, I guess Root definitely did stick around, because this video right here, that one, the 22-minute New York, that's his run. So, very controversial as
A
well.
run of a 23:53 in a Porsche
Damn.
Carrera GT Green Flash Edition.
In
In
what?
their video, you can spot IMAX's 23:06 at the top of the leaderboard.
Oh, okay, he didn't win, he just got really higher. Okay.
On March 25th, 3 weeks later, a new update came out that would change it all. The Inner Drive update improved the handling of street race and
Oh, right,
hypercars.
yes.
It reduced the speed
Of course, because before that we had the beta handling, which was testing that.
you could carry
And then they
off-road
actually
by a
added it.
big amount. Then also buffed the air nose to the point where it turned into a spaceship if you took air.
I remember that.
Probably the most interesting thing,
Oh.
they reset the leaderboards.
Oh, I didn't even know about this. Okay.
The following days after the reset,
Wait,
Kiwi set a
why?
good record at 23:39 with the Bugatti Divo Magma Edition.
Nice.
And that time, it was gonna be there for a while.
Was that did that beat the last guy's run? The guy IMAX's run
Between
at the
the
time?
record times being set,
I guess the
New
one that
York
got
had
scrubbed.
appeared in Summit for the second time ever. This time, it was in the
So the
Forever
Ferrari
Ferrari
Summit.
Summit
There you go.
between May 13th and May 20th, 2020. But it was also restricted to the Ferrari 812 Superfast.
Yeah, which was rough.
Nothing special really happened until January of 2021, when Doggerbot drove a 23:41, which was 2 seconds off of
Still
Kivo's
not
time.
around the time where I reacted to it.
Kivo saw this and decided to improve its record, and he did so over the following weeks by slowly beating it down all the way to a 23:16, just
Damn.
10 seconds off of what IMAX had done before.
So
the
these are all PC runs, I guess. This isn't the this isn't including PlayStation, which is I guess where we'd hear names like Rhino the Raccoon and what is it? Is it XQI? Someone's gonna have to let me know the name. QI and Rhino the Raccoon. Those two. And a few others who play PlayStation. Obviously, I play all the Rhino's runs for him, but you know he doesn't talk about that publicly.
That time was then held all the way until the start of September 2021, which is
Yeah.
almost 530 days straight since his
Damn.
first record back in March 2020.
I wonder. I like researching this. I don't have like that's what I mean. Researching this kind of video is amazingly interesting, but so time consuming. I would love to know who held the record for the longest time. But there's not like a somewhere where you can really look it up. It's so finicky research. There's not just like a crew record of here's all the runs and when they were done and when a change was made. Was it Kivo? Was this the longest held one?
Almost
Well,
530
not this, but
days straight
Kivo's one.
since his first
Interesting.
record back in March 2020.
Because QI had it for a very long time.
On the 3rd of September, Doggerbot uploaded a new
Or
time.
I guess that
in
was
New
just the
York,
PlayStation one.
23:05. A new
23:05.
world record, beating
Oh,
all
damn.
runs in the past. People were amazed everywhere.
Yeah,
at
Doggerbot
how
didn't just do
fast
that,
This
so-
one was. It was so
I mean, still,
close to
10
breaking
seconds,
the 23
damn.
minute barrier, but that's way easier said than done.
Yeah. Especially, I assume they're still using the
On
Devo
the
at this point.
18th of March 2022, 2 days after Season 5 was released,
Yeah.
the crew game posted a tweet about an additional update coming to the game, and it was about New York.
Oh, okay, interesting. So you didn't mention the Lavoitia Noir, which that was also a car that was pretty relevant. In fact, wasn't Doggerbot's run in the
On the
Lavoitia
18th
Noir?
of
I wanna
March
say?
2022,
Hang on.
close to break.
Lavoitia Noir. Okay, you didn't mention the Lavoitia Noir ended up taking up the mantle as the best because there was the Magma, there was the Emerald, and then the Lavoitia Noir was a newer Bugatti, which kind of just took the cake as the best Bugatti. So that's the one you can see that Doggerbot ends up using. But then after that, GXQEO. That's the guy who I meant to talk about, Jay. Yes, you're right. He held it for a very long time. But yeah, like I was saying, the Lavoitia Noir was added, and then also this change here was really interesting. Because I remember this change was made in the early access version that I had, and we were like, oh, hey, by the way, guys, seems to be a bug, New York is different, and then boom, it made it to the live game. And they said nothing about it. It was a silent patch. They'd patched a bunch of shortcuts in Hypercar before. They'd patched a bunch of shortcuts in Street. They'd sort of been doing this thing where they went through every event in the game of Street, Hypercar, and were removing shortcuts. Bronx got hit some of the hardest, but a bunch were changed in all of the street events. Some street events got barriers added. Most just got checkpoints added, but they'd never touched any of the longer events. None of the Dallas or York were changed until this, and this remains the only like iconic big event, longer event that had a shortcut patched. So this was really out of place, and it is still really out of place. I wonder what Kiwi has to say about it though.
An additional update coming to the game, and it was about New York.
One of my friends sent this to his mum, so she watched it. Sent this to your mum. One of my friends sent this to my mum, so she watched it. Still have no clue which friend.
Going to add another
Why do your friends know your mum?
and
That's a real life friend, I hope.
it was about New York. They were going to add another checkpoint in at the
Yeah.
82% cut, meaning that the previous route wasn't going to work anymore, and we had to find a new path that works with the new checkpoint. But they were also going to reset the leaderboards once again.
Yeah.
After the reset, the
Wild.
new times were arriving slower than before, with the race losing its popularity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd say Rhino is the only big creator I know for New York, right? Is the only, like, New York content creator, I would say.
Kiwi and Doggerbot
Like, the others would play it, and they'd upload runs, but they'd also upload runs on a bunch of stuff. But, like, Rhino was the streamer
Kept on
for New York, and it was just him,
competing
really.
for the best times, and at one point they were neck on neck with each other.
In the Senna! Damn! Okay, the Senna, I thought, was only the best handling car in Hypercar. I didn't know it was good enough to be record-breaking.
While they were so focused on competing with each other, new names started showing up on the leaderboard,
Oh,
one after the other. But
and Rhino's
just
on
a few
PC by
months
this
later,
point.
something very
As you
unexpected.
can see, there he is. Rhino's name actually makes it into the thing. Loft as well as Sweat, I know. Kiwi himself is there. And then Rhino, a streamer. And then you got Kiva and
New
Dogger
names started showing up
on the PC leaderboards now.
one after the other. But just a few months later,
Yeah, no,
something
he
very
had an almost perfect run. That's why it's close. Okay, damn, yeah. See, I didn't think the Senna could be up there,
unexpected
but
happened.
there you go.
New York had returned to the summits for a third time, and this time as a
In the
crossover.
BMW M2!
Getting to
Yeah.
drive a street race car across the whole race was interesting because we didn't know how fast or how slow it was going to be.
This was fun. This was
But
fun.
that didn't stop the new coming player Fwink. He got
Oh?
a time onto the leaderboard, which was unbelievably fast considering how slow the car was
Damn!
compared
20
to a
minutes!
hypercar.
What are these
Back to the-
graphics? So let me talk about the graphics. So this is a thing that people have been using. It comes up in every New York video, but it's a thing people use where your graphics card, some graphics card have a feature where they can just like tank the physics of tank the graphics of a game, right? They fully tank the graphics, and this is that, right? So not only does it mean your game performs more frames, more FPS, which is better because the game is an FPS-based physics, meaning more frames, more speed. So that's one thing where you literally go faster because you're getting more frames. On top of that, you can see the trees there are just sticks. That's the same for any bush, any bush, any grass, all just sticks. Meaning when you go off-road, you can see exactly and only the trees that have a hitbox. You couldn't see anything that you could just drive through. You have full clarity on what is going on. That's what these graphics are. Some people consider it cheating.
Didn't know-
It's a third-party graphics thing that you can do, so it's up in the air.
know how fast or how slow it was going to be.
Yes,
But that didn't,
but
which was unbelievably
20
fast considering
seconds,
how
yeah.
slow the car was compared to a hypercar.
yeah. I mean, that run beats a lot of people's hypercar runs, and that's in a BMW M2.
Unbelievably fast considering how slow the car was compared to a hypercar. Back to the main event. On the 27th of July 2022, a new
Yes.
car was added with the Elite bundle in the game.
300
The
plus.
Bugatti Chiron Supersport
Yes.
300 Plus.
Nuts.
This car was a game breaker. The car was so fast, it would just be a matter of time before
Yeah.
records were broken. One after the other.
514, was that
And
kilometers
that
an
did
hour?
happen.
Top speed?
On the
Nuts.
same evening, Doggerbot was already on the hunt for the New York world record.
Yeah.
And he beat it with
So-
a few tries.
The one that I watched, the iconic run that I watched, it was, I want to say, in the 300 plus. Was the 300 plus out by then when I did my reaction to Doggerbot's video?
With a 23:10.
Might have been.
Putting a time that low
23:10,
in that short
okay, yeah,
amount of
seems like
time
it, yes,
shows how good
yes.
the car was.
God
And
damn.
he kept trying to improve for another hour. But then, Doggerbot got this run.
Yeah, 22 minutes. A sub 23. Insane at the time.
22:54. Breaking his own world record by 16 seconds and proving
Yeah,
that the
crazy.
impossible was indeed possible.
Like, would you look at that for a
Impossible.
second? That's like almost 30. That's more than 30 seconds. 32 second
indeed
gap from second
possible.
place. Insane.
If it hadn't been for the countless runs, the motivation from the community, the legendary 22 might have never been real.
Yeah.
What was once a myth became a reality. And to be the first to ever make it was an insane accomplishment,
Even
maybe the
SidWaj
biggest one in
reacted
the
to
Crew
it.
2's history. During the following months, Nothing happened other than players below improving their own times. But there were two players who were improving their times closer to the record than anyone else. On the 16th of April 2023, player Fwink broke the world record by just half a second.
Oh, damn.
Seeing earlier improvements
Wow.
to the record by at least 5 to 30 seconds made us think we were closer to the limit than we thought before, but we were kinda wrong about that.
Oh.
On July 5th, 2023, a new car released.
Divine.
The Bugatti Chiron Supersport
There
300
we
Plus
go.
Divine Edition. As it sounds, it was a special edition of the previous meta car, and as usual with this game, the special edition is almost always faster.
Well. Then there's the F-150 with the it's the F-150 with the alien spaceship in the back, and the high octane edition, which I think people say is worse. I think people say that's worse, right? Just saying.
After its release, it only took him a couple of weeks before improving it again to the record that still stands today at 22:30. Fwink's run has not been
22:30,
uploaded in
insane.
any way other than being seen from the in-game leaderboard. I Did a Hunt
Oh wait, hang
has
on.
not been
what?
uploaded in any way other than being seen from
Oh, so that run doesn't exist anywhere.
22:30.
Like you can't watch that run. Wow.
Fwink's run has not been uploaded in any way other than being seen from the in-game leaderboard.
Crazy.
I did a hunt to track myself about 2 weeks after his time and managed to set a 22:40, which is currently
Oh,
10
nice.
seconds off the world record, but it is the fastest run uploaded online.
Yeah.
Since then, multiple people have gone below 23 minutes across all 3 platforms, but
Damn.
nobody has gotten into the 22:30s like Fwink. On the 20th of December 2023, a new meta contender for the track was released. The
Oh.
Gordon Murray Automotive T50.
Oh yeah, I forget about that. Yeah, because that kind of happened during Motorfest, so I just fully fell off of the game, really.
This car did
Or
not
keeping
break
up
any
with it.
records on neither PC or PlayStation, but it did manage to go below 23 minutes on Xbox.
You know what? And I'm telling you right now, maybe a conspiracy theory. The physics of the game, of the Crew 2 at least, I don't think Motorfest has the same thing. Physics of the Crew 2, different on each platform. 1000%. Like, I remember playing both PC and PlayStation, and I think Rhino, the raccoon who does New York runs, he's agreed with that as well, because he really plays the game a lot, and he's played New York on both things. The physics of the game, different on both those two platforms. Different cars will be better on both those two platforms. Different cars will have different stock pro settings on separate platforms. I 1000% believe that. And that shows with the fact that Gordon Murray got a sub 23 on Xbox, but not on PC or PlayStation.
Which was the final platform to get a 22-minute time.
There you go. Oh, cool. Nice. All the sub 23s. Nice.
A special note has to go to Rhino the Raccoon, who
there you
arguably
go.
spent the most amount of time hunting this track. According to Rhino himself, he's put down a total of 3,000 hours on the New York race alone while
Jesus.
streaming and just playing it for fun.
I mean, I will say, New York's such a good event to,
Considering how
like,
long
speed run. Like, it's got everything that, like, a speed run should have. It's got a bunch of different things that you have to memorize. It's got a good feeling to it. Hitting a shortcut perfect feels satisfying, and then, you know, a run can die in the next little section of it, but, like, New York, just a perfect speed run, like, race. Perfect for it. Motorfest has nothing on the level of New York. Nothing. No event is as shortcut heavy, fun feeling, and just has this sort of, like, really unique thing to it that New York did.
the game has been out, it's fun to see how much faster the track became within the first years, and that we have slowly pushed it even further recently, even though a cut was patched and made it 30 seconds slower.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have played this race,
What's insane to think is if that cut wasn't patched, we'd have sub 22s. Because nothing else changed, right? Everything, cars were added, and yes, the Divine would get added, and the Chiron would get added. But if that cut wasn't patched, we would have sub 22-minute New Yorks. That is insane that that could be a thing.
has also helped it gain fame. Doesn't matter if you just played it for fun,
Absolutely.
you made content on it.
Some of my biggest videos are New York videos, which is crazy to think that, like, out of everything in the Crew 2, I made so many videos on that game, and New York was some of the biggest things on the channel.
You put your name onto the leaderboards at one point and made the number go up by 1. A big thank you to everyone who has been a part of it on any platform. I hope you enjoyed this, and don't
crazy.
forget, you're also a part of the New York race history.
Wild, wild, wild. Seriously, thank you for these years. It's been a great time. I can't lie. I was quite nervous doing a voiceover since I have never done one before. I hope it's good enough for anyone to understand the story behind this. Absolutely impeccably good job. Head over, check out Kiwi's channel, especially if he does more stuff like this. Very, very good. Link will be in the description. Insane. Crazy. And New York, iconic event. Iconic event. I don't think Motorfest has one, obviously. I don't know if it ever will, right? I feel like the only situation in which Motorfest could have an event like that is if they added 2 other islands. If they added the 2 other islands, right, then, like, made a race from the bottom right to the top, that's the situation in which I could see maybe that being an event that people speedrun. Okay, fellas, I'm subscribing now, okay? Look, I've subscribed. There you go. Look, I subscribed, alright? Look, I subscribed, okay? I subscribed, alright? Whatever. But yeah, that's the only situation in which I could see there being a new best video, a new best runnable race. Because that just doesn't exist. Who cares about Liberty Territory? Right? And that's sad, especially during Motorfest Positivity Week. It's sad that no one really cares about Liberty Territory. It's the longest event in the game, yes, but and hopefully we see something like that. Hopefully we see something like New York, but in Motorfest, I guess, and in the game going forward, and in the games going forward. But I guess we'll see. Thank you to popular members, especially thanks to famous members, and an insane thank you to star members, Grim Pepper and Extreme Speed, and an insane top of the top thank you to Icon members, HK. I'll see you boys in the next one in a bit.